Cybersecurity Mini Course. Vulnerability Management. Going from zero experience to becoming a cybersecurity vulnerability management analyst earning a six-figure salary. By RFBAH.
Section 6. Vulnerability Management Metrics and Reporting. Summary. Subsection 1. Establish key metrics to measure vulnerability management effectiveness. Subsection 2. Generate vulnerability management reports for stakeholders. Subsection 3. Use data-driven insights to improve vulnerability management practices. Establish key metrics to measure vulnerability management effectiveness. Establishing key metrics to measure vulnerability management effectiveness is crucial for organizations to assess the success of their vulnerability management program and make data-driven decisions to improve their security posture. By tracking and analyzing relevant metrics, organizations can gain valuable insights into the effectiveness of their vulnerability identification, assessment, prioritization, and remediation efforts. Key metrics for vulnerability management effectiveness. Key metrics for vulnerability management effectiveness. 1. Vulnerability scanning coverage. This metric measures the percentage of systems and applications that have been scanned for vulnerabilities. A high scanning coverage indicates that the organization is effectively identifying potential vulnerabilities across its IT environment. 2. Vulnerability detection rate. This metric measures the number of vulnerabilities detected per scan. A high detection rate suggests that the vulnerability scanning tools are effective in identifying a wide range of vulnerabilities. 3. Vulnerability backlog. This metric measures the number of unaddressed vulnerabilities. A low backlog indicates that the organization is promptly remediating identified vulnerabilities. 4. Time to remediation, TTR. This metric measures the average time it takes to remediate a vulnerability from discovery to closure. A low TTR indicates that the organization is efficiently addressing vulnerabilities and reducing their exposure to potential exploitation. 5. Vulnerability severity distribution. This metric measures the distribution of vulnerabilities by their severity levels. A higher percentage of critical vulnerabilities indicates that the organization may need to prioritize remediation efforts for these high-risk vulnerabilities. 6. Remediation rate. This metric measures the percentage of vulnerabilities that have been remediated within a specific time frame. A high remediation rate suggests that the organization is effectively addressing vulnerabilities and reducing their security risks. 7. False positive rate. This measures the percentage of vulnerabilities that are incorrectly identified as potential threats. A low false positive rate indicates that the vulnerability scanning tools are accurate and efficient in identifying genuine vulnerabilities. 8. Security incident rate. This metric measures the number of security incidents that occur within a specific period. A low security incident rate suggests that the vulnerability management program is effective in preventing security breaches and reducing the organization's exposure to cyber threats. 9. Mean time to detect, MTTD. This metric measures the average time it takes to detect a security incident. A low MTTD indicates that the organization has effective detection mechanisms in place to identify and respond to security incidents promptly. 10. Mean time to respond, MTTR. This metric measures the average time it takes to respond to and contain a security incident. A low MTTR indicates that the organization has a well-defined incident response plan and is able to effectively mitigate the impact of security breaches.
Generate vulnerability management reports for stakeholders. Vulnerability management reports are essential tools for communicating the effectiveness of vulnerability management programs to stakeholders. These reports provide valuable insights into the organization's security posture, identify areas for improvement, and demonstrate the value of security investments. Key elements of vulnerability management reports. 1. Executive summary. Provide a concise overview of the organization's vulnerability management program, including key findings, trends, and areas for improvement. 2. Vulnerability overview. Summarize the overall vulnerability landscape, including the number of vulnerabilities identified, their severity distribution, and the percentage of vulnerabilities remediated. 3. Vulnerability trend analysis. Analyze trends in vulnerability data over time to identify patterns, emerging threats, and the effectiveness of remediation efforts. 4. Remediation status. Provide details on the status of vulnerability remediation, including the number of vulnerabilities remediated, average time to remediation, and outstanding vulnerabilities by severity level. Key elements of vulnerability management reports. 5. Security incident analysis. Analyze recent security incidents, including their causes, impact, and lessons learned. Identify any vulnerabilities that contributed to these incidents and highlight the importance of timely remediation. 6. Resource allocation. Provide an overview of the resources allocated to vulnerability management, including personnel, tools, and budget. Justify resource allocation and identify potential areas for optimization. 7. Compliance and regulatory requirements. Demonstrate compliance with relevant industry standards, regulations, and security mandates. Highlight any compliance gaps and provide a plan for addressing them. 8. Recommendations and next steps. Outline recommendations for improvement, including process enhancements, tool upgrades, and training requirements. Provide a timeline for implementing these recommendations. Benefits of generating vulnerability management reports. 1. Enhanced communication and transparency. Reports provide stakeholders with clear and concise information about the organization's vulnerability management program, fostering transparency and accountability. 2. Informed decision-making. Reports provide valuable data for decision-making, allowing stakeholders to allocate resources effectively, prioritize remediation efforts, and measure the impact of security investments. 3. Demonstrating value. Reports demonstrate the value of the vulnerability management program by highlighting its contribution to the organization's overall security posture and risk mitigation efforts. 4. Regulatory compliance. Reports can be used to demonstrate compliance with relevant regulations and industry standards, reducing legal and reputational risks. 5. Continuous improvement. Reports provide a basis for continuous improvement, identifying areas for process refinement, tool upgrades, and training needs. Best practices for generating vulnerability management reports. 1. Target the audience. Tailor the report to the specific needs and interests of the target audience, providing relevant information and using appropriate terminology. 2. Visualize data. Utilize charts, graphs, and data visualizations to present complex information in an easily understandable format. 3. Maintain consistency. Ensure consistency in reporting format, metrics, and terminology across different reporting periods to facilitate trend analysis and comparisons. 4. Automate reporting. Utilize automated reporting tools to streamline report generation, reduce manual effort, and ensure timely dissemination of information. 5. Seek feedback and iterate. Gather feedback from stakeholders on the report's content, format, and usefulness. Continuously refine the report based on feedback to enhance its value and effectiveness. Use data-driven insights to improve vulnerability management practices. Data-driven insights play a crucial role in enhancing vulnerability management practices and strengthening an organization's overall cybersecurity posture. By leveraging vulnerability data and analytics, organizations can gain valuable insights into their security risks, identify patterns, and make informed decisions to prioritize remediation efforts, allocate resources effectively, and continuously improve their vulnerability management program. Key benefits of using data-driven insights. 1. Prioritize remediation efforts. Data-driven insights enable organizations to prioritize vulnerability remediation based on their severity, exploitability, and asset criticality. This ensures that the most critical vulnerabilities are addressed first, minimizing the risk of security breaches and data loss. 2. Identify emerging threats. By analyzing vulnerability trends and patterns, organizations can identify emerging threats and proactively address potential vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. This proactive approach reduces the likelihood of zero-day attacks and is the organization's overall security posture. 3. Measure effectiveness. Data-driven insights provide a quantitative assessment of the effectiveness of vulnerability management practices. Organizations can track metrics such as time to remediation, vulnerability backlog, and security incident rates to identify areas for improvement and measure the impact of their security investments. 4. Benchmark and compare. By comparing their vulnerability management performance against industry benchmarks or similar organizations can identify gaps and areas for improvement. This benchmarking process helps organizations set realistic goals and track their progress towards achieving them. 5. Optimize resource allocation. Data-driven insights can inform resource allocation decisions, ensuring that security personnel, tools, and budget are allocated effectively to address the organization's most pressing vulnerabilities and security risks. Strategies for utilizing data-driven insights. 1. Establish metrics and key performance indicators, KPIs. Define clear metrics and KPIs to measure the effectiveness of vulnerability management practices. These metrics should align with the organization's security goals and objectives. 2. Collect and analyze vulnerability data. Gather vulnerability data from various sources, including vulnerability scanners, security information and event management (SIEM) systems, and penetration tests. Analyze this data to identify trends, patterns, and areas for improvement. 3. Use data visualization tools. Utilize data visualization tools to present complex vulnerability data in an easily understandable format. Charts, graphs, and dashboards can effectively communicate insights to stakeholders and facilitate informed decision-making. 4. Integrate data with other security systems. Integrate vulnerability data with other security systems, such as SIEMs and SOAR platforms, to provide a holistic view of the organization's security posture and enable automated remediation workflows. 5. Continuously review and update insights. Regularly review and update data-driven insights to reflect changes in the organization's IT environment, threat landscape, and security goals. This continuous improvement process ensures that vulnerability management practices remain effective and aligned with evolving security needs. Thank you. Go to the next section.